I'm proud of a lot of the things we did in the last 3 years. Not just me, but also with the guest conductors we invited. There's been a huge opening up of the repertoire. So I think in one season we had something like 25 pieces that were new in the repertoire of the orchestra. Some of the greatest experiences we've had have been with pieces that the orchestra had never played before or played very rarely. The orchestra has a great curiosity, and I think sometimes they're at their best when they're discovering things. I'm an obsessive worker. I think in 3 years we went home early 3 times, something like that. I love to use the time and the resources at my disposal. So I hope that that brought something. Something that never failed to amaze me was their ability to decipher incredibly complex pieces very quickly. We played, for example, a lot of Jörg Widmann, and I particularly remember doing what I think was the French premiere of the Harrison Birtwistle Earth Dances, which is famously kind of technically one of the most difficult pieces ever written for an orchestra. Many orchestras have started playing, and then by the middle of the week they said, no, we're going to play Brahms instead or something. It's a surprise for me how incredibly clinically they can think, and that's a wonderful advantage for an orchestra. The Orchestre Paris plays in a different way from all the other orchestras that I know intimately, so that's changed me. What's really fascinating about conducting is that you arrive and you know, hearing exactly what you imagined before you came isn't that interesting, because you know what it is already. What's really interesting for a conductor is discovering what happens when you mix your ideas with somebody else's. I learned an enormous amount from them because we're different. And they've shown me colors and ways of doing things that I wouldn't have imagined, and I've profited from that enormously. I think that the last tour we just did with Britain's War Requiem is something I'll remember forever. Just the artistic luxury of being able to go on tour with nearly 300 people. We were there with our orchestra, with our choir, with our children's choir, extraordinary soloists, and playing this incredibly important and kind of life-changing music every night. That was really extraordinary. I don't think that I'll get that kind of opportunity many times. The big moments for me, we did the 2 great Schumann oratorios, Faust and Peri, and seeing them discover those pieces and seeing them transformed by the beauty of the music, that's very, very memorable. It's an important moment for the orchestra. There's obviously been this enormous change. There have been a few changes recently, the arrival in the Philharmonie and now the fusion with the Philharmonie. And all changes provide opportunities and provide challenges. And I think that the Orchestre Paris needs to look for a music director who's going to love all the tremendous qualities of the orchestra, love the opportunities that this hall brings, have the energy to fight that everything is done for the development, the space that an orchestra needs to grow. I think a lot of people would consider themselves incredibly lucky to come and do this wonderful job, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who asked me. I think any new concert hall, it takes a few years for everyone to get used to how it works. And somehow it's interesting, we also learn from our colleagues who come in with guest orchestras. An orchestra comes, plays a night here, and they discover things or they feel things, and musicians always talk amongst themselves. And sometimes someone coming in just for a few hours, they notice something that we missed. No concert hall is ever finished when it opens. And I think we're all still learning how to use this magnificent tool in the best way. But it's really something fantastic. And it's not just the acoustic, and it's not just the architecture, but it's what it means for Paris, and it's this fantastic audience that's here, and this it's a magnet. People come to concerts and feel at home in concerts that maybe wouldn't have done before. That's got incredible value.